breath after the storm when your chest finally lifted without asking for permission? When quiet wasn't dangerous at all. It was just quiet. When the room was small, but the air, it was so big. This is Annie's story, and I'm telling it for her. That first night, the campus one-bedroom apartment felt like a suitcase left open, a pull-out cot for Annie and a cute but single bed for her daughter, the one she had picked out with hopeful eyes, ready to start her new life. It was a far cry from the lovely house that Annie had provided her. No matching furniture, no curated corners, a lamp that leaned a little, but the air was finally so still. No footsteps to fear, no keys turning with a question mark. Annie tucked her daughter in and kissed her on the forehead and stood there for a moment longer than usual, just watching the rise and fall of a peaceful sleep. You know what I mean. Relief hit first, clean and bright. He wasn't here. The door wouldn't open to anger. The floor beds wouldn't carry the weight of control. She felt it in her ribs, the first sense that she could really breathe. And right beside that relief was a glimmer of an ache. She had taken her daughter from a pretty room with privacy from the life Annie had worked so hard to build for her, brought her little girl into a cramped apartment just full of unknowns. Tears came as she unfolded the cot. Annie lay down, stared at the ceiling, and let the honesty of it all kind of wash over her. Freedom is humble. It can be. Safety can look like less on the outside and more on the inside. But Annie knew why they were there. She wanted her daughter to witness a different kind of home, the kind that was built from dignity and courage. She decided that night that a small space with truth was worth so much more than a big house with fear and harm. If her daughter learned anything from this moment, let it be this. We do not stay where we are diminished. We get up, even with shaky hands, and we go. Annie closed her eyes at night, one hand resting on her heart, and she breathed again. It definitely wasn't perfect. It came with doubt and salt water, but it was hers, and she slept. You know, freedom rarely arrives with trumpets. More often it turns the key in a small door and steps into a room that doesn't look like your dreams yet. Relief and grief sit side by side. The body unclenches while the mind worries about rent, school, the future. Many of us know that first night feeling. The silence is safe, and somehow it's still so loud. You wonder if you've taken too much from your child. And then you remember what you've given: safety, honesty, and a living example that love never asks you to disappear. If that's you today, hear this. A smaller address can hold a bigger life. You are not failing because the sofa is borrowed and the bed is a cot. Believe me, you are building because the ground is finally solid That first breath, it counts. It's the beginning of the body relearning its peace, a heart relearning trust, a home relearning its own voice. To the one who may be lying awake in a quiet apartment, may your breath come back in gentle waves. To the parent who traded square footage for safety, you gave your child a lighthouse. To the survivor who cries and exhales in the very same minute, you're not confused, you're healing. To the one afraid of what comes next, let this be enough for tonight. He's not here, and you are. You are not starting over from nothing. You are starting over from wisdom, from experience. I'm Kyle Hackley, attorney, author of Undercurrent, and the host of the Are You Annie podcast. Annie's story exists to remind you that freedom rarely looks glamorous at first, but it is real. And it is worth it. If today's your first night or your 500th, it doesn't matter. I honor your courage. Remember that you carry more strength than you ever believed. You are a warrior against narcissistic abuse. I want you to be tenacious and never, ever give up on your dreams. And until next time, will you promise me this? That you'll take very good care of yourself? You matter. Your voice matters. And your being here matters. Thank you for that. And I will look for you next time. Bye.